This tutorial is going to help you complete the assignment in Google Classroom called Writing About Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. We want to establish that Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde are both opposites. So we're going to do some pre-writing on this Google Doc to prepare us for putting an essay together when we get back from Thanksgiving. So on the doc, let's just start at the top and read through what back information we have, background information that's going to help us be successful in our pre-writing. Our unit is called Mystery and Suspense, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson, 1886. The book was written in 1886. So your writing prompt, this is the purpose of our pre-writing. This is what we're going to prove in our essay. Robert Louis Stevenson's The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde contains two mysterious characters, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, who appear to be opposites. Using relevant quotations and commentary, write an essay in which you explain how the author uses patterns of imagery, connotative diction, and details to establish a mood that reflects each character. Now let's break down this prompt so that we understand what it is. The first sentence is background information, reminding us that it was a mystery and that Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde appear to be opposites. So, using relevant quotations, that's text evidence, and commentary, you're going to write an essay where you explain how the author uses imagery, connotative diction, and details to establish a certain kind of mood that reflects each character. Okay? So when the author uses words, because that's all the author has to choose certain words to create characters and to create mood. So he has to use imagery, things that you can visualize and see in mind pictures. Or he has to use connotative diction. That means strong adjectives that are like attitude words, mood words. Or he has to provide details, just straight up details in a story to help create a certain mood. Now keep in mind that our mood in this book has been mystery and suspense. Okay? Keep that in mind. Now we go to the chart. This chart is going to be for Dr. Jekyll, and we want to prove that Dr. Jekyll is a good man. Okay? Inherently, down deep inside, Dr. Jekyll is a good man. So an example that I've provided for you comes from page 5. And notice it needs to have the author's name there too. This is a description of Dr. Jekyll that suggests that he's a nice-looking fella, a pleasant man. Sometimes when we look at people, we can say, oh, that looks like a nice person. Okay? So this is a detail. You're going to either put diction, imagery, or detail in the second spot. And you're going to go over here and answer these two questions. Okay? What mood is created by this quote? He's a smooth-faced man of 50 with something of a slyish cast, but every mark of capacity and kindness. You could see by his look that he cherished Mr. Utterson a sincere and warm affection. So the mood that is created, and I make a complete sentence, in this scene, the mood created is pleasant and peaceful. And you might even say friendly. And then in the second sentence, it says, how does the mood characterize Dr. Jekyll? And that is just another way of saying, what is his personality? Okay? Dr. Jekyll is a caring, nice gentleman. So the first sentence answers this question. My second sentence answers the second question. The next step is to take an example from the text, another example that you find of Dr. Jekyll being portrayed as a nice guy. And then you're going to come over to the second column, choose whether it's diction or imagery or detail. If it's diction, it's going to be an attitude word or words. If it's imagery, it creates a mind picture. And if it's a detail, it's just specifics about someone or something. Okay? Remember the third column? You will answer what mood is created with your first sentence. And then in your second sentence, how does the mood characterize Dr. Jekyll? What is his personality based on this evidence? Okay, it'll sound similar to this, but you want to use synonyms, okay? You don't want to repeat the same words over and over. So utilize your synonym finder to come up with different words. You're going to need to find 2 more examples. You can leave these other ones blank, okay? Also, I've provided for you some page numbers. I'm going to put the page numbers in here. Let me do that real quick. Page numbers for Dr. Jekyll are going to be 11. You can find some on 11, 14, 18, and 20. And page numbers for Mr. Hyde, 4, 6, 12, 16. There's also others, but this just gives you some practice or some hints to help make this go a little quicker. Then the next chart is about Mr. Hyde, and you're going to do the same thing that you did on the first chart, okay? Except this time you're going to look for examples that Mr. Hyde is a bad guy, okay? The example I found was on page 2, very at the beginning. And it's imagery because I can picture this in my mind and it's upsetting. So over here in my commentary, what mood is created? The mood created in this scene is disturbing. How does the mood characterize Mr. Hyde? Mr. Hyde is characterized as powerfully destructive and heartless. That's what he's like. He must be like that if he does this to somebody. Okay? Then you're going to go and put your examples here. Leave the other ones blank. Remember, you only need 2. And then the next page, essay planner. This is where we fill in some blanks based on what we've put in our charts. The intro paragraph, Robert Louis Stevenson's The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Hyde, contains 2 mysterious characters, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, who appear to be opposites. In this story, the author uses patterns of imagery, connotative diction, and details to establish a blank mood that reflects Dr. Jekyll as being a blank character and Mr. Hyde as being blank. Now, the mood, you're gonna need to find some kind of word to express mysterious or suspenseful or fearful. Those kind of words would go in that blank. And then Dr. Jekyll, don't just put good here. Go to your synonym finder and find a synonym for good that would work well in the sentence to describe him. And then go to bad to a synonym finder and find a word that would really be good to describe Mr. Hyde. Okay? We're not going to use good and bad. And then in paragraph 2, this is how we're setting up our essay. Here's your assertion sentence. In the story, the author uses blank to show that Dr. Jekyll is basically a blank character. Okay? So you're going to look back up at your chart for Dr. Jekyll. Okay? And you're going to look at these examples here. Do you have mostly details that you're using, or imagery, or diction? Okay, you're going to need to know that from the second column to be able to fill out this first part on the assertion. So here you're either going to put diction, details, or imagery in those blanks based on what you have on your chart. And then Dr. Jekyll is basically a blank character. Again, use your synonym finder to find another word different from here that tells that he is basically a good man. Okay? And then here's where your evidence goes. Evidence 1 goes here with quotation marks and page number. And then type your commentary. You just copy and paste it from your chart. Then copy and paste your second piece of evidence with your page number, and copy and paste your commentary that goes with that. And then your third piece of evidence from your chart with your page number and quotation marks, and copy and paste your commentary. And then your concluding sentence, you're going to need to make that up on your own. It restates the assertion, which means it's going to restate this sentence in different words, summarizing your main points, and closes out your paragraph. Okay, so you got to come up with your own conclusion sentence. And then you're going to do the same thing for Mr. Hyde. In contrast, the author uses, you're going to put either diction or imagery or details based on your chart for Mr. Hyde to portray him to be blank. That's when you go back to your synonym finder and find another word for bad to put on that blank, a word that you haven't used already. And then you're going to do the same thing. Evidence 1 will go here, copy and pasted with the page number, the commentary that goes with it. Evidence 2, again, you're all on Mr. Hyde's chart for this information. And then you'll write your concluding sentence. Okay? And then at the end, you're going to restate your thesis. Okay? That's what you're going to type here, reminding the reader that you have proven your point. Go back up to the very first paragraph and restate it in different words. And you can summarize how you characterized Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Emphasize how different they are. Okay? The best summary is going to not be a list of the main points. You want to just talk about how the characters are different, okay, in 1 to 2 sentences here. And then you're going to explain in your own words why the author created the characters to be opposites. Why do you think the author did that? And you'll write that in 1 to 2 sentences. And then you're finished and ready to put your essay together when we come back from Thanksgiving.